In the past, I've seen a few Beyblade videos and even asked some people about how they feel about Masamune in the Beyblade Metal Series, and I don't think I've seen a character as polarizing as him in the Beyblade universe as of right now. Some love him for the character he is, and others hate him for hyping himself up and became a fraud and motivated everybody to have countless successful hate watches, and I ain't gonna lie, that does include me. So for this video, we are going through all of his battles one-on-one, and we about to have some nice hate watches, but at the exact same time, we're going through a good chunk of his character as well, so we're not fully hating. But I gotta let y'all know something before we get into this video. I legit got burnt out of content for the past month, and that includes my main channel. I also just wanted time for myself for the summer, and honestly, it was a damn near volcano in my room. It was hot as hell in there. But I do want to get back into this stuff and at least try to be consistent with the Beyblade and Yu-Gi-Oh content, so I hope y'all are okay with it with my brief absence, but I am back. I don't know how consistent I'll be when it comes to this channel, but there's only one way to find out now. Let's get into this video. The first character to appear in the new season, and he's already bumping his gums calling Jinga a fraud, then not long later completely fucks up a battle for no good reason. He's already stuck up and just gives off a dickhead vibe. He finds Jinga and challenges him, but before it happened, Jinga just said you're goofy as hell for calling yourself #1 in the world. Jinga got himself a new bait, Galaxy Pegasus, which he could not control and didn't understand its true power. So Jinga himself wasn't even ready for a battle and was kind of forced to do so, but he said, fuck it, I'll ball out and see if I can just fry this kid that needs a humbling. But he didn't do it. His Bay did, and I don't even know if it was trying to do that at all. We've seen Bladers crash out before, but just the Bay itself out of its own power with no control from the Bladers, this is the first time I saw that since El Drago Infusion during the Kiyoya fight when they just took over his body. And that wasn't the first time Masamune ran off to go get Striker from getting destroyed. It happened again and again and again. Then finally he got himself a Mickey Mouse win. His next 1v1 was against Yu, and I gotta admit, I think a lot of us agree that Yu got nerfed to hell after Metal Fusion. He was arguably top 5 in terms of power behind the likes of Jinga, Ryuga, Kiyoya, Reiji, and Tsubasa, so probably number 6. But he fell through the cracks in this series, and this loss to Masamune was just a small glimpse to how tough it got for him. It showed his potential to how strong he can be, making Masamune qualify for Team Japan. His brains in episode 58 was on display in the end. Deshani decided to battle Jinga in friendly competition despite them being their opponents in the tournament. Just when Jinga was about to use his special move, Masamune stepped in and fucked up the battle. At first it made you not like him, but it was smart on his end to not make Pegasus showcase its true power before the championship tournament began. Next episode was his 1v1 against Chao Shin. The setting for this battle was honestly super fucking cool. All this really was Chao Shin using Tai Chi to evade Striker's attacks to tire it out. Then when Masamune started getting hits, the battle took a different turn, and due to the wall collapsing, Masamune lost. Chao Shin basically got another Mickey Mouse win, even though he wasn't even close to using his true power, but they were rematching nonetheless. Next episode, he wandered off on his own to train and encountered an old man. He decided to put him through some training about focusing your power onto one point, which is something he did against the qualifiers with Yu, but had yet to master or even train that aspect of his power. Chao Shin was cooking him in the rematch, but he turned the tides, weakening Poison Virgo. He finally took things serious after special moves clashed. Masamune walked out victorious, which boosted his ego even further. After the Russian team tried to set up Jinga, he took the bait instead for the sake of a burger and didn't fight the Russian team at all. It took a while for him to have a legitimate 1v1, but he still needed his humbling. Now that's where this guy comes into play. Niall was a mysterious blader for the time being due to him barely using power in other battles, and honestly not much screen time neither. Masamune was going to be his opponent to start off the 3rd round battle before Jinga and Kiyoya, the main rivals, just squared off. Niall was frying him the entire match, and Masamune could only do so much, and the shit talking was going on before the match, even during the press conference. Masamune constantly saying he's the #1 blader, and Niall made sure to remember him saying that, putting him on his knees and was punching the fucking ground. With one last shot, he tried to win, but Niall countered him with his special move Mystic Zone. This completely cracked Masamune as a blader, and his confidence took a massive. Again, just to remind y'all, I'm going to be talking about his 1v1s and not his team battles, so we're going to go to the next one against Klaus. It was power versus power, but only a few can or maybe none can outpower Capricorn with how hard Klaus trained. Bro was legit on some devil magic lifting weights. It was toe-to-toe and was an underrated battle in Masters in general. He had Capricorn on the brink of defeat, but Klaus's strength was just on a completely different level, passing his limits and transcended into new power. Masamune's energy was cooked and the battle was done for. He put Klaus to his limit though, and I will give him credit for that. Next one was the battle between the Garcias, and his actual 1v1 was against Selene. She kept finessing him and was giving him Tetsuya-like tactics, which he's never seen before, but his friends did. Selene legit fried him badly. His whole team was completely pissed on how stupid he was. It was the worst look on him possible, and I could argue even worse than what Niall did to him, because Masamune couldn't do a damn thing and was too gullible and dumb for her tricks. But then we finally learn about why Masamune called himself number 1 to begin with. Back in the US, he had a few friends before he flew to Japan to challenge Jinga. One of them being Toby was sick and he was carrying his wishes of becoming number 1. If I'm looking at it from that perspective, I completely understand his confidence and his will to become number 1, but due to us having zero explanation in the beginning, we was just waiting for this guy to lose. However, he had another friend, Zio, who was just a terrible blader in the beginning until Ziggurat came along and just gave him power free of cost and training, which, go fuck yourself, low-key. Toby was in the hospital and Ziggurat had the power to cut off his life support, meaning if Zio lost, Toby would die. Zio, however, when he found out Masamune left for Japan, he took it to heart and decided to make Masamune his main enemy if their paths ever crossed again. This battle meant so much for both of these bladers. Zio was on crash out alert and beat Masamune due to the power the arrangements gave him, which this is another 1v loss on Masamune's record, and he got knocked out unconscious. Since that battle, we didn't really get to see the chance of him 1v1ing until later on in Metal Fury, teasing him as a legendary blader, and it made sense due to Striker being different from before. He got his friends back, and honestly, his character arc was complete and there wasn't much left for him to do, to be completely honest with you. He had a few matches though. I seriously don't know if I want to count the Battle Royale with him when King was revealed to be the legendary blader. I just watched it and I am going to count it. The reason why is because in that episode he only clashed with King during the final Royale and he just got cooked and King damn near sold almost everyone, so yeah, he caught an L. His next 1v1 was quick as fuck against Bao. Do not get me started of how much of a fraud this dude was. Masamune gave him quick work and I'm honestly glad he beat his ass. I'm just disappointed with how Bao turned out to be in Metal Fury. I'm not counting the random kid, but we move into his next 1v1 afterwards. This was his final chance to prove if he was a legendary blader, and he did it against a mercenary blader. Yeah, there really was bladers like that named Chris. This fight was, from what I remember, just boring, to be completely honest with you. All it was is Masamune kept hitting while Orion stood there, found a way to send Orion in the air, tanked his special move, then got a huge power increase showing him as the last legendary blader, and put Masamune to sleep. He stood no chance against this guy. That was the last notable 1v1 he had, and the rest was team battles along with battling Nemesis. If you want to call him a fraud blader, go right ahead. I think his character does get justified a bit later on. We get deeper into Metal Masters. But everybody needs that punching bag to poke fun at, and he was that guy. His best moment was easily getting Toby back for the sake of his character, and his biggest win, I guess, was against Xiaoxin 1v1 wise. Team wise, it was definitely the 2v2 against Team Wildfang, no debate in my opinion. I think he had some potential in Metal Fury, but it got wasted with countless teasing of him to become a legendary blader, all for nothing. Do I think he's overhated in terms of his character? 100%. I think, again, it all gets justified later on in Masters in terms of his battles, however. I mean, yeah, he legit thought he was him. Let me know though if you think Masamune is the definition of a fraud in Beyblade, overhated, or a combination of both. If y'all enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like to help this video reach the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe for more content like this in the near future, and I'll catch you guys in my next video nonetheless.